morning. It's always good to hear all the chatter going on, and it's not false chatter. This is wholesome chatter. False chatter get you beat. So I'm excited to hear all that because it sends a positive message that we want to be amongst each other. And this time of year, there's no other reason why we should, because there's so much we need to be thankful of and for. So with that, I am calling the meeting to order. And at this time, I'd like to call on Pastor Abram of Trinity Methodist Church to be able to bring us the invocation. If we can stand, and after that, I will lead us in the pledge. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you for this privilege. My apologies for the last time I was on a schedule, unable to make it.
We still love you. We still love you.
Well, thank you for your grace. Let's go to our Father in prayer. But it is good to come together and fellowship, share thoughts, share the wisdom in which you have given each and every one of us. Father, be with the elected officials this morning and with the department heads. May everything they do be an honor to you. May it be joy to your ears. For it is the desire of all to lead Phenix City in your path and follow your light. We ask for your grace, your strength, and oh Father, we ask for your knowledge. In your Son's glorious name, amen.
Amen. So if we can all face the flag, please. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much, Pastor Abram.
Yes, sir.
And we do still love you.
Thank you.
Proceeding on at this time, I'd like to call on our clerk, Mrs. Lee, for the reading of a proclamation recognizing Alabama Farmweek, and after that one, she will also read a proclamation recognizing Arbor Day. And Jennifer Davis is here, and we'll call upon you to give you both of those. But at this time, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas for over 60 years during Thanksgiving week, the American people have observed Farm City Week to express gratitude for the bounty with which God has blessed our land and to recognize the achievements of the farmers, rural townspeople, and city residents who make our nation's agricultural production and distribution systems so successful. Truly, this cooperation between rural and city dwellers for mutual benefit helps ensure our country's well-being. And whereas America's farmers have provided food and fiber to sustain our people throughout decade after decade of progress, farmers' productivity has increased steadily thanks largely to the initiative in supporting and adopting the methods and materials developed by scientific research. Yield per acre has grown tremendously, with the result that American farmers are able not only to meet the nation's basic needs for foodstuffs, but also to produce agricultural goods for export and for a wide variety of specialty markets here in the United States and around the world. And whereas American agriculture and the many service industries that depend upon it in cities and towns and along all the routes in between is a story of extraordinary labor creating extraordinary abundance. At this time of year, it's only fitting that all Americans offer some special sign of thanks to those who grow, harvest, and bring to our nation's tables the fruits of sun, seed, and soil. Now therefore, I, Eddie Lowe, Mayor of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of November the 19th through November the 25th, 2021 as Alabama Farm City Week. I call upon all citizens in rural areas and cities alike to join in recognizing the accomplishments of our productive farmers and of our urban residents who cooperate to create abundance, wealth, and strength for our nation.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Jennifer. I know that each year we do this. It is something that we can't ever forget of doing it, particularly this time of year for Thanksgiving. And some of the key things that I heard in there is for over 60 years, we've been doing this during the week of the time of Thanksgiving. But even before then, we need to always thank our farmers, because all of us look in here look healthy. Our families has been healthy based on what the farmers does and do, and we certainly appreciate this recognition for you all as far as this week, and as also reminding us of how thankful we need to be. Thank you so much, and the mic is yours.
Thanks. Can I get them to get a picture real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you.
We just want to say thanks to our farmers. The week of Farm City, of course, the Extension Office helps the Farmers Federation in Russell County to provide the program for the schools. And then we actually do Farm City activities throughout the year with farm tours and other events. And this year we did something a little special. We did a billboard. Y'all might have noticed it or might not, above the American Legion at the corner of 13th and Somerville. That was something new that we did this year just to recognize our farmers in Russell County. So I want to thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll be right back up, I think.
Yeah, I will stand right here. Mrs. Lee?
Okay. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas Phenix City has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now therefore I, Eddie N. Lowe, Mayor of the City of Phenix City, and on behalf of the Council, do hereby proclaim this day as Arbor Day in the City of Phenix City. And I urge all citizens to support efforts for care of our trees and woodlands and support our city's community forestry program. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. And again, on behalf of myself and this council, we would like to represent and present this to you and also represent us as a whole, that we are certainly grateful, but also let Mr. Pitts know how grateful we are of him and his passion for the Tree Commission. But again, on behalf of myself and this council, we would like for you to present this to you on behalf of us. And the mic is still yours.
Sure, yeah. So thank y'all so much for this proclamation as well. Mr. Pitts had a little bit of car trouble on the way here. He was going to accept this on behalf of the Phenix City Tree Board. So y'all know y'all choose the Phenix City Tree Board, and we work year round to manage the funds that y'all assign for trees in Phenix City. A couple of things that we do is Arbor Day, which that's going to be scheduled for the second Saturday of February, and hopefully at your pleasure, we'll have it back up at the Garrett Harrison Stadium parking lot. That worked really well last year. And then also we use those funds to provide trees for parks and right-of-ways and schools and things like that throughout the year. So thank y'all so much.
And please let Mr. Pitts know that we certainly appreciate his passion. He's been at this a long time, and you don't see that a lot with people. So please
Thanks so much.
pass that on behalf of this council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Proceeding on, council, under the city clerk, I'd like to ask for a motion for the approval of the regular scheduled meeting minutes for November the 1st work session, as well as November the 2nd council meeting. And since we were all at those meetings, I would like to ask that we take these in one vote, if that's the pleasure of this council. So with that said, I'd like to ask for a motion for the approval of the November the 1st work session, as well as November the 2nd council meeting. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second? Second, Councilman Boyd. Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And council, at this time, are there any unfinished business that we need to discuss? Okay, there seems to be none. We'll proceed on. And on the resolutions, beginning with the administration, we have a resolution in reference to approving the final settlement in the matter of a lawsuit filed by Anthony Gilliam and Richard Gilliam versus the City of Phenix City, Alabama, case number 57-CV-90030.00 in the amount of $45,000. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby accept and approve of the final settlement in the matter of a lawsuit filed by Anthony Gilliam and Richard Gilliam versus the City of Phenix City, Alabama, case number 57-CV-2019-900-302.00 in the amount of $45,000 and does further authorize payment thereof. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November, 2021.
Okay, council, we've heard the resolution, the reading of the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, we do have a motion by Councilman Gordy. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion? Okay. If not, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on, next, council, is a resolution in reference to Alabama Act 2021-297 regarding an annual report of revenue collected within the police jurisdiction. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City, Alabama collects license revenue and other tax and fees within its police jurisdiction outside its corporate limits. And whereas as required by Alabama Act 2021-297, the City of Phenix City hereby provides notice to the Alabama Department of Examiners of Public Accounts, the department, that the City of Phenix City collects license revenue and other taxes and fees within its police jurisdiction outside its corporate limits. And whereas as required by Alabama Act 2021-297, beginning March the 1st, 2022, the City of Phenix City shall prepare and submit an annual report to the department. And whereas the report shall include an accounting of all license revenues and other taxes and fees collected in the police jurisdiction outside the corporate limits during the previous fiscal year, a list of the services provided by the municipality, and a list of services providers within the police jurisdiction outside the corporate limits. And whereas the City of Phenix City provides police and fire protection within the police jurisdiction, the report shall also include the following information: the total annual budget for the police department and fire department within the municipal corporate limits, the total number of calls responded to by the police and fire department within the municipal corporate limits, the total number of calls responded to by the police and fire department within the police jurisdiction. And whereas the annual report shall be completed by March the 1st for the previous fiscal year, shall be forwarded to the department and shall be made available to the public. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama hereby provides notice to the department that the City of Phenix City collects license revenue and other taxes and fees within its police jurisdiction outside the corporate limits, and authorizes the submission of the annual report by March the 1st each year for the previous fiscal year to the Alabama Department of Public Accounts as required by Alabama Act 2021-297. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November, 2021.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Lee. Council, we've all heard the resolution. At this time, council, I'd like to ask for a motion, please. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Johnson. Comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And council, proceeding on under administration, is a resolution in reference to rescinding resolution number 2021-234 in reference to filing an application with AirBot for funding assistance from the Alabama Transportation Rehabilitation and Improvement Program -2, also known as ATRIP-2, for street lighting and fiber installation upgrades along U.S. Highway 280 from South Railroad Street, U.S. 431 South. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City Council of the City of Phenix City previously approved the submission of an application for the fiscal year 2022 Alabama Transportation Improvement Program 2, ATRIP-2. And whereas the Alabama Department of Transportation Traffic Design Division has revised the estimated cost for the proposed U.S. Highway 280 lighting and connectivity improvements project. And whereas the estimated cost for the proposed project has increased to $1,998,203.13. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby rescind Resolution 2021-234, which authorized the filing of the fiscal year 2022 A-Trip 2 and directs and authorizes its mayor and city manager to act in connection with the application and to provide such additional information to ALDOT as may be required. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November 2021.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Lee. Council, we've heard the resolution, the reading of the resolution from our clerk. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. Any comments or discussion? Okay, if not, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on, under administration, we have a resolution in reference to filing an application with ALDOT for funding assistance from the Alabama Transportation Rehabilitation and Improvement Program -2, also known as A-Trip -2, for street lighting and connectivity improvement along US Highway 280 from Pierce Road to US 431 South. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City is committed to rehabilitating and improving local transportation infrastructure for its citizens. And whereas the City of Phenix City is committed to addressing critical needs in our transportation system, such as safety, connectivity, and economic impact. And whereas evidenced by that commitment, the city wishes to make application to the Alabama Department of Transportation, ALDOT, for funding assistance from the Alabama Transportation Rehabilitation Improvement Program 2, A-Trip 2, for street lighting and connectivity improvements along US Highway 280 from Pierce Road to US 431 South. And whereas the Engineering Department, along with the Alabama Department of Transportation Traffic Design Division, has developed a preliminary scope of work and cost which is estimated to be $1,998,203.13. And whereas if the grant application is approved, the project will be funded 100% with state funds. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama hereby authorizes the filing of said application, including all understandings and assurances contained therein, and directs and authorizes its mayor and city manager to act in connection with said application and to provide such additional information to ALDOT as may be required. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November 2021.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Council, we've heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please. May I have a motion, Council?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilwoman Johnson. May I have a second, Council?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Council, are there any comments or discussion? Okay. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next, Council, under administration is a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and city manager to sign all grant agreements, assurances, and certification as required by the Alabama Power Company Gateway Grant.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City has been awarded an Alabama Power Foundation Gateway Grant in the amount of $2,500 for the purpose of the installation of gateway signage on the Riverwalk. And whereas the city wishes to accept this grant award and will install 2 kayak signs to complete the project. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City authorizes the mayor and city manager to sign all grant agreements, assurances, and certifications as required by the Alabama Power Foundation Gateway Grant. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November 2021.
Okay, thank you so much. Council, we've heard the resolution. This time I'd like to ask for a motion, please. May I have a motion, Council?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. Comments or discussion, Council?
Where are these 2 signs gonna be put? Exactly.
One of them is gonna be placed down near the amphitheater along the Riverwalk in the Greenway area, and one of them is gonna be placed closer to 13th Street Bridge.
Okay. Kind of at the beginning of where a lot of the people start to congregate down there watching the kayakers and all, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bay. Any other comments, discussion? If not, at this time, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hathaway. Proceeding on, council. We have a resolution in reference to accepting permanent waiver and sewer easement on lots 7, 8, and 9 in Russell Village Commercial Park subdivision. Charles E. Dunn Investments, LLC owner. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City, Alabama is in need of a water and sewer easement on lots 7 and 8, Russell Village Commercial Park Subdivision, 2406 Sportsman's Drive, Phenix City, Alabama, and Lot 9, Russell Village Commercial Park Subdivision, 2408 Sportsman's Drive, Phenix City, Alabama, for the constructing, operating, repairing, replacing, and maintaining sanitary, sewer, and water facilities. And whereas the City of Phenix City, Alabama has negotiated a permanent water and sewer easement on said lots 7, 8, and 9 with the owner of the property, Charles E. Dunn Investments, LLC, for $1 and other considerations. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama hereby accepts the permanent water and sewer easement on lots 7, 8, and 9, Russell Village Commercial Park Subdivision, and authorizes and directs the mayor and city manager to sign the necessary documents for the easement agreements. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November, 2021.
Okay, council, we've all heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Gordy. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Johnson. Council, any comments or discussion? If not, call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, council, under administration, there's a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to sign a contract with Day Change Seat Corporation USA for the sale of property, 22 acres more or less, located at Phenix City Industrial Park, 23 Downing Drive, in an amount not to exceed $484,000. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City has been working with Beijing Seed Corp. USA on the expansion of their Phenix City operation. And whereas the expansion will add an additional 140 jobs and an investment of approximately $35 million for a total of 350 jobs. And whereas Beijing Seed Corp. USA is interested in purchasing 22 acres more or less in the Phenix Industrial Park at 23 Downing Drive from the City of Phenix City. And whereas the sale is contingent upon the survey and replat of the property. And whereas the city desires to enter into a contract with Beijing Seed Corp. USA for the sale of the property in an amount not to exceed $484,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama authorizes the mayor and city manager to sign any documentation related to the sale of 22 acres more or less at 23 Downing Drive in the Phenix Industrial Park in an amount not to exceed $484,000. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November, 2021.
Thank you. Council, we've heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, we do have a motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second, Council?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Okay, we have that, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Council, any comments or discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like for Mr. Hunter, somebody to elaborate for the citizens of Phoenix City, because this is a huge.
Sean?
Mayor, Council, if you'll remember, at the end of 2019, we were able to locate Day Change Seed Corporation to Fontaine Road. And so they've expanded exceedingly faster than they expected to. And so that expansion is going to require them to purchase some more property to build a larger facility. And so they currently employ about 210 people. And over the course of this expansion, which will take the next few years to build this facility and get it in operations, They expect to employ 350 by the end of that. So, large facility. They're purchasing the 22 acres that we've known as our soccer field inside the Phoenix Industrial Park. It currently backs up to our new C&D landfill. So it's a great project. It's an exciting project that we're looking forward to seeing through fruition in the next couple of years.
Great, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Any more questions?
Just one more. So Day Chain is a corporation that prepares certain parts of the vehicle parts, particularly which ones?
That's correct. So they make the metal seat frames for Hyundai, Kia, and some other additional car manufacturers. So they do what they call arc welding. So it's mechanical robotic welding to make these seat frames. And so they are a Korean automotive supplier based out of Seoul, Korea.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Any other comments or discussion, council? If not, at this time, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
And now, council, on the building department, we have a resolution in reference to declaring various personal items as surplus to be disposed of at the city landfill. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Whereas the building department of the City of Phenix City has items of personal property which are no longer needed for public or municipal purposes. And whereas Section 114356 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended authorizes the municipal governing body to dispose of unneeded personal property. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that the described property is listed on the attachment entitled Exhibit A is hereby declared surplus to be disposed of at the city landfill. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November, 2021.
Thank you so much. Council, we've heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, we do have a motion by Councilman Gordon. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Johnson. Okay, we have the motion and the second. Any comments or discussion?
Yes, sir, I was looking at this item here now, Mr. Hunter. Can anybody get in there and get some of this stuff out from the landfill when you take it out of there, you put dirt on it, how do you do it?
We don't have.
Is it fenced in?
Yes, sir, they're not.
It's fenced in all around?
Yes, sir, we just hold them totally different way. Yeah.
Just the way?
There's no one in the landfill but our personnel.
Okay, nobody not allowed down there?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm just looking at something. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other comments or discussion? All right, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on, council, on the Engineering and Public Works Department, we have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city managers to sign and enter into a proposal agreement with Wright Engineering LLC for design and technical drawing at the north end of the Phenix City Riverwalk in an amount not to exceed $12,000. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the north end of the Phenix City Riverwalk has severe cracking and is in need of repair. And whereas a licensed structural engineer is needed for the design of a reinforced concrete slab. And whereas Wright Engineering LLC has provided a quote for the design and technical drawings of the reinforced concrete slab in an amount not to exceed $12,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama hereby authorizes the mayor and city manager to sign and enter into a proposal agreement with Wright Engineering LLC for design and technical drawings of a reinforced concrete slab in an amount not to exceed $12,000. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November, 2021.
Okay. Council, we have all heard the resolution. At this time, may I ask for a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. Comments or discussion?
Once they improve this riverwalk with this cement slab, there's a certain amount of time on their work, a year, 2 years.
Yes, sir, Mr. David. We will get a warranty period. This is just for the preliminary engineering for the slab. So once we get a report back from the structural engineer and he develops plans, we'll come back before you all and get approval for the construction or the remediation of the bridge, or of the slab, I'm sorry. But, I mean, it will have a warranty period on that at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, discussion?
Any idea what caused this to crack? I mean, is it just time, age, or being close to the river and ground settles, or what?
That's why we want to get a structural engineer involved, Mr. Bailey, because our concern was it did crack earlier than what we thought it should, and there's a vertical shift and a horizontal shift in it. So since we have those reinforced concrete walls out there, we want to make sure that there's no anything else structurally going on.
Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, discussion? Thank you, Mrs. Moore. Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
And now, council, proceeding on the library department. We have a resolution in reference to declaring one non-working water fountain as surplus to be disposed of at the city landfill. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Whereas the Phenix City Russell County Library has items of personal property which were no longer needed for public or municipal purposes. And whereas Section 114356 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended authorizes the municipal governing body to dispose of unneeded personal property. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that the following described property is hereby declared surplus to be disposed of at the city landfill. One non-working water fountain, passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November 2021.
Thank you so much. Council, we've heard the resolution. At this time, may I have a motion, please?
Motion approved.
Okay, that's a motion, Councilman Day, and Mr. Johnson, is that?
Second.
That's a second. Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Day and the second by Councilwoman Johnson. Comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
And council also proceeding on the Parks and Recreation Department. We have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to sign an agreement with Alabama Power Company to allow the city to temporarily hang holiday lighting on poles owned by APCO, which is Alabama Power Company, during the 2021 Christmas season. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City desires to provide quality entertainment for its citizens, and whereas the City of Phenix City would like to enter into an agreement with Alabama Power Company to hang holiday lighting on power poles owned and maintained by APCO. And whereas the City of Phenix City agrees to temporarily install and maintain the holiday lighting during the holiday season and remove them when the season is over, no more than 60 days. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that the mayor and city manager as authorizing officials are hereby authorized and directed to sign an agreement with Alabama Power Company that allows the city to temporarily hang holiday lighting on power poles owned by APCO. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November 2021.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Lee. Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion at this time, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Gordy. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Okay, any comments or discussion, council? Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next, council, on the police department. We have a resolution in reference to purchase of 10 2022 Ford Explorer patrol vehicles purchased under state contract T191L from Stivers Ford Lincoln, Montgomery, Alabama, in a total amount of $321,050. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas under the Alabama bid law for public contracts, municipalities can purchase property under a state bid provided that the state bid so provides. And whereas the city desires to purchase the property hereinafter described on said state bid for the police department. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that the following shall be purchased under state contract T191L from Stivers Ford Lincoln, Montgomery, Alabama. 10 2022 Ford Explorer patrol vehicles as follows. $32,105 cost for each vehicle, for a total of 10 vehicles, $321,050. Passed, approved, and adopted the 16th day of November, 2021.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Lee. Council, we've heard the resolution, the reading of the resolution. At this time, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion, Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion?
Yes, sir, Mayor. This is something that we need, the police department need, as the chief alluded to yesterday, because that we do have high miles and what have you. We're gonna ask him to come forward for the citizen of Phenix City to operate for us, police service.
Yes, sir, Mr. Day and council and mayor, we appreciate the opportunity for you to approve this purchase. Certainly 10 vehicles is a lot, that's more than we usually buy. But because of supply chain issues and some other things that we felt like it was prudent for us to go ahead and do that now. The contract price is locked in until June of next year, so we figure we go ahead and get these things knocked out. Again, appreciate making sure the police department has the tools necessary to do their jobs effectively, and these 10 vehicles will go a long way with updating our fleet. We have currently about 31 vehicles with 100,000 plus miles. Most of those vehicles are still serviceable, but we certainly want to make sure that we have the best equipment out there on the field to be able to get those officers to those calls safely and efficiently. And so this will go a long way to doing that. So thank you.
Chief, you said it's locked in to June of 22 of next year?
Well, what happens is a state contract. Yeah, state contract does a yearly contract, so these prices are good until that time. When that contract runs out, then they'll rebid it. Certainly, we don't know what that holds for us. We know that there's chip shortages and other shortages. Anybody who's been shopping for a car lately knows that those cars are in short supply, so we feel like we need to go ahead and move and get these vehicles because that will save us money in the long term, depending on what's going to happen in the new pricing coming up next year.
I just asked you a tough question, but it's locked in, and the price increase 29 and June of 22. Can they change that?
No, the contract is a contract until June when it runs out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Do you think all of them will come in kind of 2 or 3 at the time? Is that
Actually,
how
I
they-
think when we were talking to Stiver, I think a lot of those are already are in inventory now. So other than us having to outfit them and get them blue lights and the computers and so forth put on them, we should be able to field these pretty quickly. So that's another reason why we decided to go ahead and get them now, because they are currently coming in stock.
Available.
Well, they're available and they're basically being built right now. We think we'll be able to get them quickly.
Well, good.
So in addition, you're talking about another addition, 2,000 or 3,000 when you get them outfitted with the light, computer and all that?
Yeah, there'll be additional cost to outfit them, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But the most important thing is that we have a lot to be thankful of in
Oh,
this
yes.
community because we have the money to do it. And so that's huge. And we are certainly thankful for that.
Also, you have a lot more equipment put on these. Right, certainly we'll have, of course, the video cameras, the computers, the emergency equipment, light siren, those kinds of things. Those will all be put on there when we get them.
So about another $3,000.
More than that.
It's a lot
Probably
more than
about
that.
20,
When you're talking
about
the computers are about $3,000 by itself, so
Well,
yeah.
we're talking about that, let's talk about what they would have cost if you didn't have it. If you didn't have these special prices.
Well, certainly, if you go price a Ford Explorer, commercial, or
Oh, yeah,
standard.
you just get one that's loaded up, it's $60,000. So,
There you go.
yeah, we'll have one that can serve our city. It won't have to quite that much in it, and be doing the job for us. Keeping it safe and keeping the officers safe, that's the biggest thing. The officers need the best equipment, the most safe equipment, and the safest vehicles is what they need.
Well, and these are actually purpose-built for police work, so they've
Right.
got upgraded brakes, upgraded alternators, upgraded heating and cooling systems to keep the engine
Well, you
going.
can sit there and eyes the scene or whatever they need
Right,
to
so
do.
there's purpose-built for this, so they're not like a civilian Explorer that you might buy. These are a little bit more
Oh, yeah.
upgraded, they got beefier transmissions and so forth, so we get good use out of them. And we've had good luck, the ones we've had here recently, that's the vehicle that has been serving us the best, it's been low cost to maintain them. The officers like them, they've got plenty of room to carry their gear and again, to keep the equipment with them that they need when they get on the scene, not to go back and forth, get stuff.
Well, you said yesterday the officers can handle a little bit better through parking lots and down alleyways and on certain roads and all.
Right.
And it's more so than the Tahoes and all, and they hold up better than the Chargers and all. And it looks to me like it's just more convenient if everything's inside that vehicle with them rather than in a trunk where you gotta get out, run to the back. You could reach over the back seat or somebody in the back seat just reach behind and get what they need.
That's right.
So it just seems to me like it's just so much better for them to have those type vehicles out there. And our officers need the very, very best we can afford for them.
And also, we just need to be thankful for the foresight that our leadership have because we know in this environment the cost of inflation. And we're in a thankful position that we can go ahead and purchase these. Because if not, you know, we wouldn't be doing what is best for the employees and certainly would not what's best for the community. But I'm grateful that they have the foresight to know what's happening in this environment and how the supply chain is broken. And I think that we've all heard on the news that there is a shortage of vehicles. Am I right, Mr. Bailey?
Oh, yeah.
So I just
Shortage
appreciate,
of parts to build.
yeah, we appreciate the foresight of the leadership of, you know, getting ahead of this, because it's certainly something that we certainly need to better serve our citizens. Any other comments or discussion? If not, call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next, on the license application, we have an application for an on-premise beer license, an on-premise wine license, on-premise whiskey wine license, dancing with the live band and dancing with the jukebox license submitted by Christina Williams for Giovanni's Pizzeria and Restaurant located at 1600 A Broad Street, Phenix City, Alabama. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. The first letter